Excellent. Welcome to a universally designed syllabus. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how you could take a pre-existing syllabus that's formatted like a regular Word document and move it into what the universally designed instructors and learners call a highly structured document. Moving to this format makes it much easier for people who are using screen readers or need some form of adaptive technology to interact with your document. So it changes a little bit of the formatting. It has a small impact on the document, but it absolutely makes your document more universally designed, more accessible to a wider, diverse set of students. So let's jump in and take a look. What we have here is the existing Word document of a syllabus from fall of 2016, and I'm going to be converting this to a universally designed syllabus. The steps are fairly straightforward. There's a couple of small things to note, and I'll point those out as we go along. So the first thing I'm going to do is I need another instance of Word up and running so that I can create my blank document here. So as I open my blank document, looks just like you would expect. We'll go over and start getting some content. You can see the first thing that exists on the existing syllabus is a text box with some info in it. This is something that absolutely presents a challenge for screen readers. So we'll go ahead and grab that, bring it over to our document. This is the first thing to point out. There's 3 different kinds of pastes, and it even gives you a preview. This is paste, including this is matching, and this is the text only. We want to bring over the text only. We don't necessarily want to bring the formatting that existed. We want it to be clean text. So we'll go ahead and say paste text only. We'll hit return a couple times to make room for some more text. We'll go back to the original document. In the original document, we'll hit Control A. We'll hit Control A, and we can copy that to the clipboard now. Now the whole document, the whole syllabus is in the clipboard. We'll go ahead and paste that content and then see what it takes to fix it up. Again, we're going to use the text only, and it's going to drop everything into the new document. We no longer need the old document unless we need to reference back to something, see how they had done a particular piece. This is the end of a calendar section. It doesn't look that well, but we'll understand it. Let's scroll back up to the top and start doing our highly structured process. So we'll hit delete several times, bringing up the content that was below the text box. We'll grab the information that was in the text box, these 4 lines here, and we're going to play with styles. The whole thing that we want to do is, instead of explicitly saying 14 point or saying bold or changing a font family, what we're going to do is instead use styles, and this helps the screen readers and other adaptive technologies consume our material much more easily. So we'll pop out the styles window box. So now we have this box that lets us use styles. We've highlighted the stuff from the text box, and we'll title that a title, and it changes it out. You can see that there's one thing I need to fix, put a return in here so it looks a little cleaner. There are some deleting and readjustments that you have to do as you go through these things. So here is an example of a section. I might want to, this is the contact and office hours section. So we'll go ahead and grab the name of the instructor. We'll move it to a heading instead of regular text. And then we'll move everything underneath there. Here's where the office is located. This is the email address. This is the office phone number. You can see that all I'm doing is formatting text here. And you're watching me live create a document. So this is a very tutorial. How do I go about addressing this? There are many ways to do it. I'm sure other people have other methods. I'm simply demonstrating for me what it took to convert this document. But clearly you could have your own processes. The idea is to use the styles instead of hard coding things. So let's talk about the office hours for this particular class. We'll highlight that. We'll put it into a heading 1 again. And now we have office hours. But you can see that because of the way it was in the original, let's go back over to the original document for a minute. In the original document, there are these groups of text. This formatting was accomplished simply using tabs. And if you're a screen reader, you would read across like this and then read down the next line. and start reading across. It doesn't block them together because of the way that this was done. So I need to reformat that in the new document. And so I'll have to cut and copy some things around to get them to where we think they should be. So the example of talking about walk-ins is confusing because of that tab situation. So we're removing all the tabs, and now we can see that we have sections that need to get moved. And again, I'm using keyboard shortcuts. Other people might have an alternative that they prefer to do. So we have some tabs left over here, and we'll just clean up the formatting by going with single returns instead of the return and a half. Here's another section area. This is course prerequisites. In the course prerequisites, you can see we don't have any for this particular class, so that's a fairly easy section for us to have. And you can notice now over on the right-hand side, or left-hand side, it's building out the navigation for this document. And so this is just a matter of going through, grabbing the different areas, putting on a heading. We'll get to a section here shortly that actually has heading 2s. These are the required courses, books for the class. We'll put this down on its own page. This is the course description from the course catalog. So this is what's published. The students know what to expect. Here we come down to the disabilities policy. This is the text that's handed out from the Student Success Center for each syllabi. Here we end up having how to get in touch with the professor for this class. Again, we're making that a heading. We're just cleaning up some hard returns. This is the objectives. This is stuff that you may be familiar with from TaskStream. Now, this section here, we're going to go ahead and make it a subsection. And to do that, we're going to use the heading 2 instead of the heading 1. We have multiple styles. We're only going to end up using 3 of those styles. We're going to use title, we're going to use heading 1 and heading 2. But as long as you're using styles, even if you want to do something that's bolded or you want to emphasize a particular piece, you can absolutely do so. Just do so using styles so that they're more easily understood by the different adaptive technologies. So you can see the text is just slightly smaller. Here's the course room environment and climate. This is how we conduct ourselves in class. Right? So there's some policies this instructor happens to have. We'll try to group those together. Here's an example of the makeup exam policy. So we'll highlight that, make that a heading 2. Here's another policy. This is the attendance policy for this class. Go ahead and make that a heading 2 as well. Remove some extra spacings. Here's the late assignment policy and how that will be dealt with. Again, I'm talking about the structure and how to make this document universally designed. You don't have to follow this exact late assignment policy. Clearly, you can set that for yourself. This is all about how can students more easily consume in a universal way the content that we're putting out. You can see if I forgot whether I did heading 2 or heading 1, if I put my mouse in the particular area, put the blinking caret, that ends up highlighting the style on the style window over there to the right. Now, this is a brand new section, so it's not a heading 2. We're going to go back to a heading 1. And I think at this point, you've got the idea of how this works. I won't make you watch the manipulation of this. I will come down here and do one more piece where this didn't seem to format correctly. It was a bulleted list previously, and then the tabs were used to sort it out. So let me attempt to clean up this table just a bit, and that should help us get a sense of what this might look like. This is some of the formatting things that you might have to deal with when you bring documents over. There's one extra return here. We'll get rid of that extra return. And now we've got one more tab here to bring that in line with the rest. We'll clean up this extra tab. And then here is a section. We'll go ahead and drop that down to the next page, highlight it, and turn that into a heading 1 as well. And we can see, again, we've got just a small format because of either how the fonts were done or a particular thing. We have to go clean that up a bit. I'm now almost done with the document. The whole idea, use styles, paste without formatting from your original document, and we have successfully created a universally designed syllabus that will help our students in the spirit of inclusivity and diversity on campus. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and you can always reach out and ask questions.